What's up guys, YST here and welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video. And today, I'm joined by my friend, arch nemesis and frenemy, I don't know which other way to say it, Deadwood Jedi. How's it going, man?
I'm great. I'll be your foil any day, my friend. I'll be your foil any day. I love it.
Are you enjoying your victory over there in your free-to-play challenge?
Yeah, my face is feeling a little cold right now, so I'm
Yes.
waiting for that customizable warmer.
Yeah.
It should be coming pretty soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm actually yeah, it obviously it felt good to kick your butt in Clan Boss competition we had on our free to play, but I kid. Actually, I mean, it was just a lot of fun to be able to have that. I'm
Yeah.
really actually excited. Something that we need to do soon is get together and figure out what the next one is gonna be, because I know I've had everybody in my chat has been going, "What is the next competition you guys are gonna do?" Because they really enjoyed that. And honestly, I haven't really gone on my free to play very much, and I need something to focus on. So,
Yeah.
like, I'd like us to kind of come up with something at some point soon, but right now, obviously, it's the draft. The draft's the
Yes.
big thing at the moment. That's what we're focused on. So, once that ends, then we can start going back to the free to play
Yeah.
and trying to figure something out there.
Yeah, well, guys, the draft, if any of you have missed it, Deadwood, just want to break down what kind of times to expect this with the finals, what it's all about for anyone that's not really seen the draft in the meantime.
Of course, of course, of course. Well, basically on Sunday, this past Sunday on the 19th, we had a live draft. It was at 4 p.m. UTC. That's 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. And basically, we had a clan boss draft, and we had a variety of rules. No legendaries. You have to have at least one champion that has green in their kit. St. Patty's Day and all that. We had a what else did we have? We had a ban phase that the chat actually chose the champion getting banned for each of us. We could only pick, the five. We picked 6 champions, including the band champion. And we have to make a team with that. We can drop one champion, pick somebody else up. We have a 300,000 player power limit to kind of balance the accounts that everybody has different levels of, right? Makes basically so Hell Hades doesn't run away and put crazy gear on everybody.
Uh,
But so we have all these kind of rules in place, and it was a lot of fun. We got Hell Hades, Cold Brew, YST, obviously, Nub, and myself, and so it was a huge blast and a lot of people in the chat. And I have the VOD still on my channel. If you haven't seen it, you can check it out. And actually on my website, deadwoodjedi.com, we have not only all the videos, a playlist of all the videos that I've done on this, so you can go watch that. I'm doing interviews every day, including with YSC, which should already be out as well. And we've also got, some articles up there. I did a draft grade on everybody, but that's
yeah, I
kind
read
of
it. It's
what the
good.
draft was. And then we're having the final where we're gonna show all of our clan boss teams and who can do the most damage in clan boss. That'll be Friday, same time as we had the draft, 4 p.m. UTC, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, on Friday, March 24th. So I'm really excited. I've been very nervous. I haven't been sleeping too much. Everybody's kind of thinking YST is probably gonna have a pretty good chance to win this thing. Real nervous about it.
Well, you say
But
that, but
yeah.
my viewers on my channel, on the poll that I put up earlier, up until this point anyway, which is on the Wednesday, you're actually in the running for things on my channel. So I don't know about that.
Well, it's because your viewers are clearly the most educated in all of Raid. Or
Yeah.
at least 34% or whatever voted for me.
Yeah. Well, guys, what I
No,
actually wanted to do
it's
for Mr. Deadwood Jedi, he's a really good friend of mine. I've not actually spoke to him about this, but we actually get to do some giveaways every month, and there's actually going to be thousands of gems over on Deadwood's channel. But if you guys want to win 540 gems, 1 epic skill tome, and 1 void shard for 5 lucky winners, all you have to do is like this video, go and subscribe to Deadwood Jedi, so you're all there prepared for the Clan Boss draft on the finale on Friday. And just head into the Discord link in the pinned comment or the description. There'll be a giveaway tab there. Click the party emote, and you'll be automatically entered. So yeah, very simple to do. All of the links will be below, and I'm sure Deadwood would appreciate that as well. I'm having a lot of you guys there on that Friday. But
definitely.
yeah,
And it
oh,
makes such a difference having people in that chat. It really makes the whole thing so much more fun. So like the more of you guys come out, the
yeah.
more of a fun experience it all is. Of course, if you can't, it'll still be on YouTube. You can still find it. So don't fret too much. But we'd love to have you all there if possible.
100%. Like, we
Um,
appreciate, just as content creator to content creator, I do appreciate the amount of work that goes into these things. So it would be really nice to do something like that. But yeah, in terms of like the Clan Boss draft side of things, you've actually done interviews with all of us, all of your fellow competitors.
yeah,
But nobody's
yeah.
actually sit and asked you how you feel about this, I guess. Deep breaking down into your one. So I thought I'm going to go into the nitty gritty and break down into your squad here. So in terms of like champions and stuff, you managed to get that back-to-back pick towards the end, right? Was you nervous about this or any of your key components getting chosen in the first four that we had?
No, I wasn't really nervous. I figured whoever I picked in the first round was going to get banned. I was
Mhm.
pretty confident about that. What I was surprised was that my second pick was a champion that I thought would already be gone. So, I felt really confident after that first round, or after I guess the second round, because with both Skull Crusher and Maneater, I knew that I would have a really good team, right? Like Skull Crusher, if I just have Skull Crusher, that's great. That's great. I could build a counterattack team. I could go a traditional 1-1 ratio team, go real slow,
Mhm.
bring a second ally protection champion. Or if I got bold, I could go to 2-1 ratio and still use the counterattack, and still use them as an ally protection champion. And so either way, it was going to be a really good result for me. Or if people banned Skull Crusher and I had to keep Maneater, there's so many builds that you use Maneater. And because we can use all the gear on our account because we're on the test server,
Mhm.
I knew I could build a stupid tune with Maneater, right? There are speeds that you can, make work with him at like 280 speed or something ridiculous, but like I can do that. So that would have been a solid approach too, and I just would have had an unkillable team. Opted for like a warcaster or somebody else a little bit unique, and try and make that work. So I,
Mhm.
I felt very confident after that. I was very surprised I was able to get both of them. Because if I hadn't gotten Skull Crusher, I'm not sure exactly who I would have taken. I probably would have opted for like Geomancer or Taragi. Were
Okay.
pretty high up on my list, but I don't know that I would have been like super stoked to have either of them really when it
Yeah.
comes down to it. So it was a very fortunate, turn of events for me.
Yeah, so if I was to like say, like when you was coming into this draft, if you could have your dream squad, let's just say, or something hypothetical that wasn't unkillable, what kind of route would you have taken for this? Like, you got the five champions, no one's gonna choose anything. Is there kind of like a specific tune you would have went for, or maybe someone else on the board is like a team where, oh wow, I wish that I could have had a team very similar to that. Is there any kind of things you could think of there?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly I would have followed the template that you have. I think
Okay.
is really the biggest thing, right? Like if I could have your team but with Skull Crusher in it, is basically what I would have done, right? Like
Mhm.
counterattack is pretty OP. Being able to go to 2-1 ratio is incredibly valuable. And you have a buff extender in there, which is something I'm really lacking on my squad. It provides me different options.
Mhm.
So it's not all bad, but I think if I could have had, but obviously it also allows, it makes the need for protection champions less because you're extending the duration of those
Yeah.
buffs so that the champions you do have protecting can do it more consistently, a little bit, a little bit better in that sense. So there are definitely some challenges to what I have going on without that, but yeah, I think yours is the template, right? You got your speed champion, you got your buff extender, you got your ally protection, you got your increased defense and all the debuffs that you want, and that's kind of the route I would have liked to aim for.
Mhm.
But we deal with what we deal with, and
Yeah.
I'm actually, I honestly feel pretty happy about my team. I don't know that I'm gonna win, but I feel like I'm gonna be very competitive at the end of it. So
Yeah, I think this one's actually
that's
going to
kind
be
of
a lot closer than people think, in a sense. A lot of these teams are sleepers, like the Valley of the Cloud we spoke about on your channel, and the double ally protection from Cold Brew, or the instant damage from the Dark Hills of Nub Raids, bit of the underdog. But I'm still interested to see exactly where you could take that team, because he's got two damage dealers in there, which literally none of us have from first glance here. So can he ramp up
Yep.
damage and die early, but still equal our damage because we're going for more longevity? So all of these things like need to be answered, right?
Yeah, I have a lot of questions about his team. A lot of
Yeah.
questions. I asked him a lot of them, and I didn't get a lot of answers as a result. So I'm real interested to see
Did
where
he
that
even?
goes. Uh, Both Nub and Cold Brew, right? They both have incredibly unique squads right now. and trying to figure out how they're going to what they're going to create, how they're going to create it, how they're going to, either do damage or survive is really a big question that is yet to be answered. And so like I had that draft guide, and like for both of them, like some of these picks are going to be the best of the worst. I just don't know how it's going to go down for them. So it's gonna be real interesting, real interesting.
Yeah. All right. So if you could, I was going to ask you this one as well. So
Yeah.
who do you think on this draft board had the most sleeper pick that's OP? Like one that maybe didn't cross people's minds, and you're like, when you see it, you're like, damn, like that's actually a very, very good pick there. I'd say one for me was actually the Runekeeper Dazduk, because I hold him to such a high regard. Terminator boosting, we got the Leech. He was somebody that I was considering as well, apart from the Deacon and the High Katoon, because of so much stuff that he enables. Even being able to cleanse as well to take off that stun target. I feel like there's lots to his kit. So I feel like that was one for me. Did you have someone like that as well? That was kind of niche.
Yeah, I mean, for me, there's two that really stand out to me. I mean, obviously, there's more than a few champions that are really, really good here.
Mhm.
But the two that really stand out to me are your pick, and I know you asked this question just so I would praise you, but I will. I'll step up to the bait. But that
Uh,
Hitatsu pick in the third round, I thought was
yeah.
like absolutely clutch. That's a champion I was thinking would last at least another round, and really kind of chapped my hide that he went so early. I like immediately I knew once that happened, I was gonna be in trouble trying to find all the things that I needed on my team, and
Mm,
that became a big issue for me. One I was able to deal with, I think, but like it was definitely an issue at the time, and like threw my draft off a little bit. The other one, I think, another big one is actually Liberga by Cold Brew. I
mm,
think it was like a super clutch pick. Honestly, I don't like his first pick with White Dread Nia. Like I wouldn't have done that myself. Although, like I wrote, it's either the best pick or the worst pick of the draft. But the interesting thing about Cold Brew's draft is I think he had the best draft after that first pick. Like just the best draft, right? Farrakhan the Fat was a steal where he got him. Honestly,
mm.
I would have picked him ahead of Geomancer. Like for myself, I would have picked him. I think he could have gone number 2 in the draft, right? Like I think you could have taken him instead of White Giant Nia there.
Yeah.
He's just an amazing champion. Ally protections or ally attack is just so strong. Venom Mage is an awesome champion with good damage reduction. Runekeeper, like you said, is a real nice pick. Jareg, easily the best ally protection champion on the board at that time.
Mm,
But yeah, for me, Liberga in the Orc faction is just an insanely good champion that just offers a lot for that team because it's not just the poison she puts up, it's also the poison that she extends
yeah.
and the increased defense and increased attack buff, which I think goes under the radar a lot. Increased attack is great because it makes your champions deal more damage. Is a really
Yeah.
good one. And so there's a lot in that I really liked, and I thought that was just a clutch pick for him. Um, and somebody I was a little bit jealous of that one. Yeah, the debuff extension, and pairs so well with Venomage, you can activate poison. So like,
Yeah.
to really take advantage of Venomage, you kind of have to overfill the debuff bar. And with Liberga, he can do that with the poisons, and he's gonna have it pretty full. I think that's just a
Mhm.
really nice pickup on his part.
It's going to be
Um,
interesting, like Nub Raids versus Cold Brew, the power of the detonators, because they both got the the detonations, Venomage and Dark Chaos. So that'll be pretty cool
yeah,
to see,
yeah.
like, because I love poison explosion stuff. That's one of my favorite things in this game. I use it in all my
Mhm.
dungeons and stuff. So being able to see like the Venomages and the Dark Chaos just smacking up the Demon Lord, I can't wait for that, man. As like a fan, I can't wait.
That's Yeah, I've never been a huge fan of Poison Explosion. I always feel like those poisons are gonna tick anyway. Why do I need to explode them early?
Yeah.
Unless you can overfill your debuff bar,
Hmm.
because then you're getting extra poisons, right? And that's where I see the value in it. And when I saw that he was pairing Venomage with Liberga, now I'm like, oh, he's getting that value. He's actually getting it because he's gonna be able to stack them up,
Hmm.
and so he's gonna actually probably need to explode him to make sure he has enough room for the other debuffs to land. And that to me was like just a big change, right? And obviously Dark Kale is gonna be kind of a similar thing if Nub can get enough poisons up there, which I'm not sure that's gonna pan out quite the same.
Hmm.
But that's kind of for me, that's the argument of that. Um and yeah, could be really strong. Could be really, really strong.
So one thing
It's
that
very
got you.
why do you gotta bring that up? Why you gotta bring that up? You gotta bring up my Trumbor.
So one thing that was like a highlight of the drop, which you guys definitely should go check out if you haven't already, is live on Deadwood's channel. Trumbull made you literally, because you meant to say Taggle, right? And then you said this
I
dude.
did.
Yeah. So in
So
terms
let
of
me
this,
break it
go
down
on.
for you guys. I took the wrong champion. I panicked
Mhm.
and I was like, I don't know who to take. I'll take Tagore because he'll give me a speed champion. I can get to a 2-1 ratio. Maybe I pick somebody else up later. All the buff extenders were off the board. I refused to pick Valerie. And then of course I said Trumbor,
Mhm.
who doesn't do any of the things I needed. Good champion though. So he
Yeah,
kind of
he's good.
fits, but he kind of also doesn't fit. So I was very upset
I actually
at
thought he
myself.
was a very good one for your one. Like when you said Trumbull, I was like, I laughed a bit, and then I actually reread his kit because I actually never knew what he did. But in
Great kit.
your team in particular, he's running Leech and a Weaken on an A1 skill, and then a counterattack team. This doesn't matter if it's not 100% because it's pretty much going to be up the whole fight anyway because of the counterattack. So I was very
Yeah.
like, I'm interested to know how you're gonna go. I'm not gonna drill it out of you of who you swapped or if you haven't swapped, but I'm very interested to know if you swapped out Trumbo or another champion on the board because there's another one I was looking at in Anax and I was worried you wouldn't be able to keep him alive. So I'm not sure if you took him out or Grizzled Yao. I've got no clue at this point. Seriously.
Well, I don't want to spoil too
Yeah.
much. I will tell you this. I did have to substitute somebody out.
Yeah.
I did substitute out Trumbor.
Oh no, poor Trumbo.
And he has an absolutely amazing kit. You're absolutely right about that. Amazing kit. But for me, it wasn't really fitting with everything else that I needed and had, right?
Hmm.
Um, and so I did have to take him out. I mean, I actually had to come up with a completely new speed tune in order to make this team work. So I've crafted something totally new and different that I think actually people are gonna get a bit of a kick out of.
Oof.
Um, and it should be pretty fun. But yeah, it's a challenge. And I think people are gonna be pretty impressed with what I've put together, even if it doesn't win. Still a pretty solid team. But yeah, the Trumbor part is, it was rough. It was rough. Because like the people, when you're crafting a team like this traditional team, you need so much stuff just to survive.
Hmm.
You know, you need ally protection, you need increased defense. On top of that, I need the speed to be able to go at like a 2-1 ratio team, right? So,
Yeah.
but I mean, I've looked at a variety of different things. I looked at going at a 3-2 ratio. And
Oof.
I've heavily considered that for a while. I looked at subbing out a Archmage for a 1-1 ratio team and just going, relying on counterattack and going a lot slower kind of thing. So
Mhm.
there were more than a few options that I was considering and looking at as far as like the best ways to go through this and try and survive as long as possible. I think what I've settled on, I think what I've settled on is the best one. I think it's the
Okay.
best one.
Now I'm
And
interested
honestly, it's
because
so funny now. I can't imagine swapping anybody out of my team now. Now I'm like, oh, of course, this is of course the perfect team for this. I don't know
uh
what I would have done. So
uh,
it's a very interesting kind of situation I
you
find
guys are
myself
so
in now.
secretive, man. I'm trying to get out of you. I tried to get out of Nub as well. No one's saying anything. No, but it's really cool to like, because
Yeah.
obviously I'm not in your clan on the test server, so I've got no clue what you or Hades or anyone's up to. I don't even know if Nub's even hitting Clan Boss because I've not seen him hit it once. Unless he's just hitting it and cutting the runs off. I was like, can I get a quick peek here, like to see if what he's doing?
Yeah, yeah.
But I've not even seen Nubs do anything yet, unless he's doing it when I'm sleeping or something.
Mm,
But I was actually
mm.
worried about your lack of decreased attack in your team, if I'm honest. I'm not sure if that's what you brought in, but Grizzled Yo, that's risky, man, depending on the tune you're going.
Well, I mean, Grizzled Jarl's 100% chance to land. So
Mm,
it's not like it's as risky as people think. We never think of Grizzled Jarl for decreased attack, and good reason for it because he also has a heal reduction ability, which is kind of useless
hmm.
generally, and it's not something that you necessarily want. But his decreased attack, 100% chance to land when it's
It's
booked.
that 4 turn cooldown,
And
man. If that misses
it
on a
is on
3%, that's wraps.
it is on a 4-turn
Yeah.
cooldown. If it misses, that is wraps. I've had that happen in a couple runs. There's definitely, concerns. You can't overfill your debuff bar, for example, right?
Hmm.
You gotta land it. But his best skill is his A2 with the increased defense on a 3-turn cooldown and the block debuffs, right? And that's usually what everybody focuses. That's usually what I focus on.
Yeah.
But in this team, you have to make choices. And so, one of those choices is maybe using Grizzle Jarl for decreased attack.
Yeah.
Maybe I bring in somebody else like a gift card. I don't know. I definitely don't want to
Ah.
spoil it for you. But that's a possibility.
Oh god.
But yeah, I mean, there's definitely some, some things that there's some options and ways to go about doing this that I had to really look outside of the box and look a little bit different from the way I would typically look at these champions to make work. At least specifically with Grizzle Jarl, but some of the other ones too. I really had to kind of approach it in a slightly different way than I normally would, and there's a lot of fine tuning going on though at this one. Like
Yeah.
I have the team built at this point, so it's like everything's fitting really nicely into these little boxes and like I'm like I got to make sure I don't overfill the debuff bar. I got to make sure that I survive this stun specifically. Like I know where my danger zone is now on my team. Can I
Yeah.
build up more HP, or do I need to build up more defense and lower the HP? What is a guardian set better so we heal up a little bit more, or maybe I should go with stalwart so we take less damage. Like there's a lot of adjustments kind of going on with each of these tunes. It's very interesting, right? Um, I
Yeah.
do I definitely miss Leech. I would love that. I think that would be a
Yes.
really nice addition. Like I would really wish I had a Tatsu, for example.
Sorry, bro.
IST. Thank you.
Uh,
Um, but like that would be really, really impactful for my team,
yeah.
and help ensure that I'm getting that heal up every time. A little, sometimes a little dicey. Sometimes a little dicey. Like, Skull Crusher takes a lot of damage.
Mm.
So there's definitely some balance going on there with that.
Yeah. So, do you know one thing I actually took away from this whole Clan Boss draft is the lack of increased defense, free turn cooldown epics in this game. Like, for Hell
Crazy.
Hades to have to result to a marked is actually bonkers, man, because there wasn't, like, obviously everyone had an increased defense champion, but Jareg is obviously for free anyway. Like, there's not really much in the game. Like, even when I was searching them up afterwards, I was like, is it really like that? Like, was marked was actually the better choice in a sense, but there were some other options that he chose and stuff, I guess. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be so interesting, man. I don't know who anyone's swapping out. Hey, I know that all of you guys are probably swapping something because I see a pocket in everyone's team in a sense where it could be swapped. I'm not sure if Hades is definitely gonna swap that marked. What do you think?
I think he has to.
He
I
has
think
to,
there's
right?
way better options available there. One of the things with this is it's always hard actually figuring out the stun.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually harder on a 2-1 ratio team than it is a normal 1-1 or 4-3 team. Because if you're on like a 1-1 ratio team, you can have somebody take the stun and then just build in an extra turn for them, right? And then that's fine. You stay on sync. It's not a big deal. When you're on a 2-1 ratio team, there's no extra turns.
Mm-hmm.
Everything needs to be synced up to that. So either it's, you want something divisible by 6, right? So you're on a 3-turn cooldown, you're on a 2-turn cooldown, or you're on a 4-turn cooldown, which is still not perfect, but at least, 2 champions on 4-turn cooldowns, you're alternating, skills, so you can kind of balance stuff out. The one thing you don't want are like 5-turn and 7 turns because there is no balance there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if you have a champion with a 3-turn cooldown, normally they would go twice, because if we're on a 2-1 ratio, you're getting 6 attacks. So they'll do all their skills, they'll go through the cycle of their skills twice. If
Yeah.
they take a stun, all of a sudden now that 6-turn double cycle becomes a 7-turn double cycle,
Yeah.
and it's totally out of sync. Or if they're on a 4-turn cooldown, right? It's the same kind of stupidity, right? Where all of a sudden it's like a weird, extra turn in there, like it becomes like a 9-turn double cycle, which is just
Wild.
bizarro, right?
Yeah.
And so it's a very interesting thing and hard to balance out. And so like that for me is like I think one of the biggest tricks to have to deal with, and that's what I'm curious about with Hades. I know that's why he took Mark, so he could actually block the debuff. But if he takes Marked out, who is he bringing in to fill that role from? And I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't see a cleanser on that team. I have no idea what he's going to do with that. So somebody has to just probably tank the stun and lose a turn. And that in itself can be a little bit problematic. I know that's something that you've had to deal with on your squad
Mm-hmm.
as well.
Yeah.
And that's something I had planned initially to deal with as well. But of course, I came up with a plan. I got a system here. Let me
I'm
dust that
just
off real
gonna.
quick.
That what we said. I came up with a plan. I'm just gonna crop you out, right? And then every single time, I'm just gonna put it in my videos after this drop because, guys, redemption, of course.
Just Just made a plan. I didn't say I was gonna win. I just made a plan. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
I'm trying to force the trash talk out of you. Like, please give me something. But yeah, no, okay.
I expect the meme of this, me dusting my shoulders off at some point coming through.
So, all right, I've got two hot questions for you then. One will be, what was the hardest thing you encountered so far? One single thing where it's like, you chose these champions, like, away from the Trumbull stuff, was there anything that you encountered where it was like for me, I spoke about the Hatatsu and taking the poisons, and I was like, for God's sake, I didn't consider this. Is anything like that or along those lines that kind of, you did the runs, you expected it to go a certain way, and it didn't go like that at all?
Doing the runs, expecting it not to go a certain way. Yeah.
Without really revealing too much, of course.
Right. That's the trick with that one, right?
Yeah.
I don't have any like really. I don't have any really negative experiences.
That's a good thing.
Right?
That's a good thing.
The team's been performing since the get-go better than I had expected it, right? Like I had pretty low expectations, and it's doing better than that, so it's great. There are a couple things that like I was kind of surprised with on a positive note. Most specifically, how unbelievably good Guardian gear is. Like if you guys aren't farming Guardian gear in the Doom Tower, you should be farming Guardian gear in the Doom Tower. It's really strong. Not only does it like, it's basically like a mini ally protection ability. But the part I always forget about is it heals. So it's like I'll spoil things just a little bit here. But my Skull Crusher, I put in Guardian gear. And he's already ally protecting everybody on the team, right? So he's already taking a lot of damage. Like, why would you want him to take more? Because the healing from Guardian gear is super important. Like that part to me was like, oh yeah, let's do this. Now I could have opted for something else. Like I could opt for like regen gear, and maybe that's something I'll try before the end of things. Like you never know exactly where things turn out. But what I was finding was that healing was as valuable as the protection as it was offering. So that to me was a big shocker that I hadn't been expecting.
Yeah, because you're like you're absorbing damage and then you're healing as well, and it's basically like an ally protection. But once you start putting multiple champions in that team, you're like, what's going on here? Like it's very impactful, right? So yeah, I definitely I took that away as well, 100% from this. But
I mean, the only other thing I would say it's like really kind of a little bit surprising. It's not surprising, but I'm always reminded of it when you is the player power cap is incredibly important, and how much you struggle to find gear without resistance. Even like 10 resistance just adds like so much player power. Crit damage, crit rate, like actually having Archmage to provide crit rate buff is incredibly valuable for my team.
Yeah.
Because I'm actually able to save a ton of player power with that. And so like those things are, that's always a surprise. That was kind of a big surprise for me.
Yeah, no, it's true. I can't wait to see the Archmage one as well, because you don't traditionally always see him. He's pretty hard to tune, especially against Void, right? If I'm not mistaken, but he's definitely worth tuning.
Easier to tune against Void because you can, if you build him with 100% crit rate, you can guarantee the crit. And
it's the affinity.
His A1 gives you a 10% turn meter boost when he doesn't crit and 20% when he does. And so any weak hits are going to throw you off because the difference is pretty drastic, right? And so trying to find a proper speed tune with him can be really challenging. It was really challenging. Actually, I spent like almost literally an entire day trying to work on something, utilize him. Yeah. And I tried so many different variations and things until I settled upon what I've settled upon. But it's tough. But I'm glad for this, because at the very least I have a new speed tune using Archmage that I think actually people will be able to get a lot out of, which is not something I was expecting going into it. So
that's the main takeaway, right? Like that's something that I always hold to high regard in these events, is being able to come up with these quirky teams and showcase stuff that's not really been shown before, and then maybe give the viewers an idea of ways that they can build. If they feel like, oh, I haven't got a lot of legendaries and stuff like that, maybe give them that, you know what? If I got some good Guardian gear or specific gear sets or champion. Now, but it's true, because there is many people out there that have the stuff in their forge, or they have the champions, they just don't realize how impactful they are. Like some people are really surprised about, like, for me on my one anyway, was Hatatsu was like the one that I'm getting all the time. But even stuff like seeing Dark Hail in there, who's attainable from the normal Doom Tower, or Runekeeper, White Dryad Nears, Archmage, like these are attainable champions, some of them. Some of them are guaranteed events and stuff like that, so should be really cool. But yeah, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I had one final question for you. We actually did we did a pre-Clan Boss draft, right, on your channel. And you kind of set a little benchmark for us all. You said something like 50 to 55 million is kind of where you thought the winner would come. Has that changed at all after seeing it? Do you think it will be a bit lower or a bit higher or anything like that? What kind of numbers are you expecting?
I mean, I think my prediction was pretty spot on. I thought that the winner would
50
be
million.
I thought one key damage was kind of like the ceiling we'd
A one
probably
key.
see.
Okay.
And then I thought 50 million was going to be pretty. I thought that would be like kind of like the minimum to win. I don't think my feelings have changed so much. I don't know if we'll hit the ceiling, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel like the winner is going to be somewhere in that range between like 50 and 70 million or so. That's my gut instinct.
Unless you're baiting me and you've hit like 100 mil. He's gonna have 100 million, guys. There we go.
No, I'm not. I'll be honest. Like, I'm not baiting you with that. I still don't feel confident that I'm going to win this thing. Right. I feel like I'm going to be competitive, but I don't know that I'm going to win it. So, I feel like that's a pretty solid estimation. I'm pretty positive everybody's going to be able to, or at least most of us should be able to two key.
Yeah,
Or
that was
get
kind of the
darn
aim,
close to it,
right?
if not.
Two keys, like very impressive. Like to be able to do a draft format and then get a champion banned and rechange champions and do it in such a quick time and under a player cap limit, like all of these things. Like, a two key is very impressive with epics only. To be fair,
two key is a wonderful result for Clan Boss. It's really all you need to have for your actual account. Two key is really all you need. Because that's just gonna get you that you spend 3 keys in a day and you've got your nightmare and ultra nightmare chests, right? You're all set. So like 100% I'm behind you on that. Like that's absolutely the way to go. I love how you just randomly open a sacred shard there.
it's a tradition on the channel, and then when it comes to fusions, I ain't got no sacreds left. Whenever I got a guest on, I summon a sacred at the end, and then I got no sacreds for the fusion, and now I'm not gonna get my Owella, whatever her name is. What's her name? Supreme Aether.
Classic.
Deadwood.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming on and all of that good stuff, talking about your team with me. Well, what was the times again? Because I know it's 4 p.m. UTC. I'll leave it the rest to you.
Yes. Yeah, 4 p.m. UTC. That's 9 a.m. on the West Coast, Pacific, LA, San Francisco, etc. Or it's going to be at noon on the East Coast. So we're talking New York City, Boston, Philadelphia, Miami. You're looking at noon to come by and watch it. So it's kind of a time that fits everybody. So if you're in Europe, you're in London, it's going on at 4 p.m. right about the time you're getting off work. Or if you're further east in Europe, it's probably perfectly timed because you are off work. And for the rest of us, it's going to be, in the morning or in the afternoon. So it is a Friday though. So, just give yourself an extra long weekend. Come by, hang out with us. It's always, I feel like, it's the banter between us that always makes it such a good time. And there's so much information that gets passed around and always, I don't know. It's fun. It's fun hanging out with friends, and it's fun watching friends hang out. I feel like, and that's kind of what happens when we get
seeing the competitive nature as well, because I see it a little bit from everyone. It's like, yeah, we're all friends. We're loving the banter, but deep down, we're like, I'm winning this thing, man.
Yep. Absolutely.
But yeah, guys, that is going to be all for today's video. Remember, guys, there is that giveaway. Subscribe to Deadwood Jedi now. Make sure you guys are there. Hit a like on the stream, and also head over to the Discord link in the pinned comment or the description, because that's where the giveaway will be held. And then also thousands of gems will be there live on the stream. So don't miss out on your opportunity to come and get involved, have some fun, and see where this actually ends off at. Will someone get a 1 key? Will someone get a 2 key? Only time will tell. What was he saying there?
And subscribe to him too. Don't forget that.
Oh, no, this is all about Deadwood today, because we appreciate you, man. All right, guys. We'll catch you guys on the video soon. Hopefully next time Deadwood will have his mask, and peace.